Welcome back, Vid Headz. Yes, in this particular episode, we're going to demystify the RGB Color Curves in Premiere Pro Lumetri after this. Yes, if you've been around this channel any length of time, you know this channel is all about iron sharpening iron. We all taking our skill to the next level. If you're all right with that, go ahead and hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell because I got a lot of different content coming at you and I don't want you to miss anything that might help you. If you're like me, when I was starting out, when they started talking about RGB color curves, I was hesitant and I kind of, shied away from that because to me, it was like some kind of monster in the room when they started talking about the curves because I didn't understand the curves. I didn't know how to use the curves and I didn't know how to even use the scopes when I first started out. But in this particular episode, we're going to demystify those things for you right now. RGB color curves in Premiere Pro, how to color correct very simply, very easily, and very quickly. And so first of all, what we want to do, I want to show you, I got 3 clips here. Got this clip here, and this clip as well. This first clip is shot in S-Log 2. Second clip is shot in S-Log 2. And the third clip is actually shot with no picture profile, just a baked-in Sony look. And all 3 were shot on the Sony A7 III. But you can use this technique to any of your footage. That's why I have these particular clips here. And so first thing we want to do, we want to bring up our waveform in our scopes. So we go to our Lumetri scope and you have our waveform here. And so in this waveform is actually showing you, if you actually see right here between the bottom and 0, we have a lot of space here, which means the 0 point would be our shadow line or our black line. And if we go down so far, we can actually clip our blacks. Let me show you. That would be clipping our blacks here, as you can see. But we don't want to clip our blacks. What we want to do, if you notice, on this side of the color curve is the shadows. This is the shadows, and this will be the midtones here, and this will be the highlights over here. And so white controls all the colors, and you can actually go to red, just control the reds. You can go to green, just control the greens. You can go to blue, just to control the blues. But right now we're going to deal with just the white. We're looking at color correcting. And so by doing that, what we want to do is first start bringing our shadows down. And what I want to do is I want to bring my shadows down towards just touching your line or a little bit above the line. I think that's okay right there. And then I'm going to bring up my mids and highlights just enough to where I'm seeing, I can still see my onions. I can still see them individually. And just kind of, very simple. We're almost there. We're almost done. So now at this point, we want to bring in a little more vibrancy. We want to bring in a little bit more saturation because we want to get that to look more pleasing. Our green is already looking green. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to our creative tab here, and I'm going to bring up the saturation a little bit. Bring my reds out a little bit, make my greens a little greener, and I might make it a little vibrant here. Just because. And I always shoot with no sharpening. I take my detail down, and so I always have to add a little sharpening. I add a little sharpening here. So let me go back to my curve and do a little adjustment here. I want to make sure I get this off the line, just close to the line, but off the line. That's what they mean by crushing the blacks. They'll bring them blacks all the way down. They'll crush them. So now we have a very pleasing image looking here. So we have, and so basically that is a quick and easy color correction using our Lumetri RGB curves in Premiere Pro. And so we have a second clip here. Let's do the same thing here. First thing, we're looking at our waveform here. Look at all the space between 0 line and at the bottom of the waveform. So what we're going to do is go to our shadows, bring our waveform down closer to the 0 line. And as you see the image, how it's getting darker and bringing more shadow, so it's introducing closer to black. And then we go up here to our highlights and we just kind of roll it up a little bit. Now, up here, the 100% line, that's white. So we don't want to get to the point where we clip our whites. That will be clipping our whites here. So that's information that's just lost and gone. And so we don't want to clip it and blow it out. Some clips that we shoot, we can't help but blow out the whites or the sky or something like that. So you might find that that might be clipped, but that's fine. That's okay. I just want to show you guys how to get this color corrected and kind of dialed in. As you can see, we stretched out our waveform here and our colors. See all our colors being represented there. And sometimes I like to kind of take this highlight down just a touch here. And I might bring it down a little bit here. But that's about it. That was quick and easy. And so I might want to add a little color. Like saturation, I want to add a little saturation, so I'll just kind of bump up my saturation a little bit, and I kind of want my corn to look, you know, yellow, and I bring a little vibrance in there, and a tiny bit of sharpening, and that's it. And basically you doing it based on how you like it to be, and that is color corrected. So now let's go to the Sony baked in look. Now this is with no picture profile on, and it's just basically the Sony baked in look. So let's go to our waveform. As you can see how this is clipping up here, the highlights. And if you notice on this side of the waveform, meaning this side of the image. So right over in here is where it's saying that it's clipped in the highlights. And right here will be this part. Somewhere in here is clipped, like probably right here in this pot. So basically what we want to do is go to our curves. We want to bring I want to bring my blacks, my shadows above the 0 line, just close to it. And I want to bring my highlights down just a touch. Now, if you notice, I'm not doing the curve part where I'm not making it curve because the saturation and the color is basically already here. I'm just trying to bring the luminance down a little so that we can satisfy our scope here, and so things are not really all blown out. As you can see, it looks a little better, a little bit more pleasing, and it was just that simple. That's how I use the RGB curves in Lumetri in the Premiere Pro, and so it's a very easy, simple process. I just want to demystify the whole RGB curves confusion. It's not a lot to it. So you guys can get in there and just kind of play around, look at your waveform, see what's going on with that, and kind of adjust your curves and get it the way you like it. And when you start getting a little bit more into it, you'll go into like your reds, and then you'll see like your highlight and your reds. You see this red up here? You can bring that red down if you like. See how I can bring just the red down? If it's like too much of that luminance in that red, you can just bring it down if you like. And so basically that's what these curves are really all about. Yes, Vid Headz, I hope this video helps you get a little bit more comfortable with your color correction using the RGB color curves. And the next time people talk about the waveform and the color curves, hopefully you can join into the conversation. Now you're able to effectively and quickly color correct your own footage in Premiere Pro using the Lumetri RGB color curves. So yes, go ahead and subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell. I got a lot of different content coming at you. Like I said before, I'm Aaron Jones. I'm your big brother, and I got your back. Make sure you go out and you film something and kill it.